Explore, extract, escape. Lost in space or new frontier. My name's Kanan and welcome back to the home of cheap gaming. Credits. Cool. Options. Volume, music, effects, and UI scale. I just left them where they were. And to the game. We are presented with a load of planets and a wormhole. Then we can go into the upgrade system with ore and crystals that we've collected in-game. Health, defense, heal rate, harvest rate, and a load of other upgrades for the ship. And you can even pick one that you like at the beginning of the game. There's also buy new ship member, but that's kind of like when you lose one and then complete an actual planet. Now, we land our ship and have to collect ore and crystals to build and heal and upgrade. Then simply get off the planet to jump to the next planet or planets ahead of us. Simples, yeah? I'm not going to explain the controls, as I think if you have as much fun as I did trying to work them out yourselves, it was almost like a puzzle game within itself. I know some were highlighted, but some weren't so apparent. But once you do know all the controls, I will say they are functional. Quite functional. And so we go into character modes. There's a healing mode. There's a shield mode, which has all the shooting bits. The harvest, so that you can harvest your ore. Construction, so that you can build turrets, and these can protect yourself or mainly protect the ship. You can just leave them there and they'll shoot away. And then there's a harvester, so you can leave it and find other things around whilst that's harvesting the ore there. I did particularly like every aspect of this. You have a separate uniform. It's kind of nice. I will say that sometimes if you have to change in a rush, you get killed because it doesn't change fast enough to actually just battle back sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. And so we start to explore to find crystals and ore. Then you harvest it all. Told you it was simple. You can switch between the actual characters and the ship itself. Whereas once you've had enough and you want to leave, you can use the ship to call the characters back, and basically once you have them all back, you take off and leave with all your ill-gotten goods. But if you're splitting up your characters, be careful and make sure you keep an eye on all aspects of the ship and the characters, as once they start glowing and flashing red, they're being attacked and can die quite easily if left unattended. And of course, if you lose both characters, it's game over. I will say it does actually have a cool screen, although this seems to be the same in every aspect as far as I can see. And after quickly checking how many goods you could have actually had, you move on to another game and practically start again. I will say that some of the enemies are really stupid, whereas I put one turret down in front of the ship, and instead of going around the turret, it got stuck at the one side whilst my ship killed it, which was a bit weird. So everything you do, you have to have the appropriate costume or costume change for the actual situation. I have to admit, it does take a little bit of getting used to. As I said before, once you do get used to it, it's functional and it works. With all the planets procedurally generated and different types of planets out there, like for instance ice and desert, collecting ore crystals whilst battling creatures and monsters to stay alive, whilst trying to upgrade to make it back home. Monsters keep coming till, well, basically there's so many of them and there's a threat meter at the top that you just can't carry on. And that is the time that you should say, I've got my stuff, I'm gonna leave before shit really happens. Story. Stranded deep in uncharted space, you need to make your way home while gathering ore and crystals and fighting aliens. ... Hey Kay, Graphics, top down and with nice touches. Love the fact that the costume changes for each task, and nice character and alien animations. It ain't gonna win any awards, but it is again functional and it suits the game. Sound. It's got a nice soundtrack that at times sounds spacey, futuristic, and other times sounds more, well, like you're playing a Western game, weirdly enough. The speech, if you can call it that, grates after a while, whilst the movement, alien characters and fighting and all that lot is pretty well standard. And so we reach score and final thoughts. I rate games out of 5, and From Orbit gets a big whopping great 3 out of 5 from me. A slightly above average action strategy game with some nice ideas but nothing groundbreaking. A nice upgrade system and seemingly loads and loads of actual planets out there. Procedure generated means that they're going to be different every time you go. As I mentioned before, the main character's speech does grate on you, and I'm thinking maybe the problem with loads and loads of planets that are procedure generated is going to be, well, it's going to start getting boring after a while. You know, a bit samey, repetitive, shall we say. But for the price, there is value here to be had. So that's it, all you cheap gamers out there. What do you reckon? Have you bought it? Do you think it looks good? Leave a comment down below. Let me know. Come and chat with me. Maybe even hit that like and subscribe button. And until next time, keep it switchheads and keep it cheap.